As responsible investors dig deeper into ESG and sustainability considerations, the standard practice of negative screening for ESG norms is losing its efficacy. Now, investors are increasingly looking for the positive impacts they can have through their investments, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals potentially offer a more comprehensive approach to making this a reality. This Minerva briefing introduces the importance of the SDGs to your fiduciary duties and how Minerva can help you include them in your stewardship efforts. My name is Alex Whitebrook, ESG Communications Manager at Minerva Analytics, and this is a Minerva briefing on the Sustainable Development Goals. Minerva, trustworthy data and insights for sustainable stewardship. So, let's jump right in. These are the topics we'll be covering today, starting off with an overview of the SDGs, their origin, and how investors can use an SDG lens to achieve their sustainable stewardship goals. We'll move on to take a look at how Minerva Nexus helps investors to take a positive and holistic approach to sustainability risk and opportunity. So what are the SDGs? Well, in September 2015, the United Nations adopted the Sustainable Development Goals to guide international cooperation in pursuit of ambitious global goals. Together, the 17 goals for global development form a blueprint for the world to achieve by 2030. The goals were developed in partnership with business, investors, governments, and ordinary citizens. They're based on a specific definition of sustainability first put forward in the groundbreaking 1987 United Nations Brundtland Commission, which first defined sustainability as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This guiding principle lies behind each goal. Recognizing that governments alone could not achieve the goals, the financial sector has always been critical to their success by spurring innovation and targeting impact. Investors rightly ask, why should I consider the SDGs relevant to my investment strategy, policy, asset allocation, investment decisions, and active ownership? The private sector is embedded in every aspect of the SDGs, with SDG 17, Partnerships for the Goals, specifically anticipating that the private sector can make the capital contributions required to achieve them. The global community, led by the United Nations, recognizes the essential need to get investors on board. Unlike the narrow and sometimes confusing ESG considerations that many responsible investors adhere to, which exclude a handful of companies, the SDGs encourage investors to make a positive contribution to their fiduciary responsibilities. There are several ways we can look at the SDGs as an investment tool. Firstly, they're a global agreement. Using the SDGs, the governments of the world have agreed to an overarching future direction for their economies. In this way, the SDGs provide a useful framework for guiding investment. Choosing not to consider the SDGs as part of your fiduciary duty does pose a risk to investors. The SDGs are an unavoidable consideration for universal owners. Large institutional investors possess highly diversified long-term portfolios, which are so comprehensive in scale that they possess a significant portion of the entire global market. Investment returns therefore rely on consistent growth and good market health. This long-term view must consider the long-term sustainability of the world economy. For investors that focus on a particular sector of the economy, there may also be specific regulatory, ethical, and operational risks that are financially material to your investments. As sustainability regulations become more commonplace, current external costs like environmental damage may become a material cost to companies, negatively impacting investors' bottom line. This is already occurring in examples such as the EU's SFDR. But the SDGs also present an opportunity for investors. As a framework through which all economic endeavors are positioned, investors can easily predict that the SDGs will be a key driver of global economic growth, the fundamental driver of corporate revenue and earnings, and therefore the driver of investable assets. Not only will the SDGs drive global economic growth, but they can also serve as a guide for capital allocation. Positioning yourself now with an investment strategy that considers the SDGs will enable you to reap the benefits of this global step change and contribute to a more sustainable future. Of course, this is easier said than done. Successfully aligning your investments with the SDGs is no easy task. It requires you to not only determine an appropriate map or framework, but it also requires sufficient, relevant data about the investments under consideration. This is where Minerva comes in. As a governance and stewardship specialist with over 25 years of experience, Minerva offers a range of expert-led solutions to help you meet your regulatory and investment goals. Minerva Nexus is built to meet the SDG opportunities and ensure that you're prepared for future risks. So, how does Minerva Nexus work? The first step that Minerva takes is to build a framework. To build the foundations of Minerva's SDG alignment services, our expert stewardship team assesses sectoral impacts against each individual SDG. Economic sectors are defined using the EU's NACE code. As a result, Minerva has produced a comprehensive heat map of sectoral impacts on the SDGs. The next step is to aggregate data. Using our SDG alignment map, clients can see at a glance what the status quo position of each sector means in terms of each SDG. From this starting point, we ingest raw portfolio data into our database to do a number of things. Convert other classifications to NACE, aggregate the amount of money invested into appropriate NACE sectors, and of course generate ESG, TCFD, and sustainability score info. Beyond the quantitative aspects of Minerva's SDG alignment services, we can also assess external managers' approaches to the SDGs. These managers are asked to complete an online ESG or responsible investment questionnaire, with part of the questionnaire being specifically focused on the SDGs. The responses provided are used to inform views as to where the managers are currently placed with regards to their own approaches to the SDGs. Using this information, our analysts assess whether the managers themselves are likely to help or hinder the delivery of the SDGs. This information adds vital context to the raw, quantitative data collected. There is no question that the SDGs will be highly significant to all asset owners and managers in the decades to come. Minerva can help you begin now by starting your journey to SDG alignment. Minerva is connected and knowledgeable when it comes to responsible and sustainable investing, being a signatory of the 2021 UK Stewardship Code and a founding member of the industry-leading Net Zero Financial Service Providers Alliance. We have also been widely awarded as leaders in sustainable investment solutions. Down below, you can find today's full briefing and slides. If you wish to find out more about how Minerva can help you align with the UN Climate and Sustainability Agenda, say hello at minerva.info. Thank you all for tuning in.